Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 176. It's Friday, June 15th. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, Tim. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here.
So, kind of a short episode possibly today. I'm not gonna lie, this has been one of the most brutal news weeks in the history of Android. There's just like not a lot of stuff going on. I mean, like I reviewed the U12 Plus. Tim's got a phone he wants to talk about. Shout out Bertzer. So there's some stuff on. It's just been like kind of a weird slow week. Maybe it's because E3 is going on. I don't know.
It's gotta be E3.
It's got to be E3. And there's been tons of gaming stuff, right? And but not necessarily related to anything that we do on the mobile front either. Like we didn't get like, well, Fortnite's now here for Android. Like that didn't happen this week, which sucks. So we only have a handful of topics and no trivia this week. Hopefully that's not too disappointing to everyone. No trivia this week just because we're going to keep it short and whip through this and get everyone on their way on this. Well, it's kind of a cloudy Friday here in Portland, but
any Friday is a beautiful Friday for me.
that's true. They all are pretty beautiful. All right. So first topic. Well, let's just talk about the U12 Plus. HTC's new phone. Here it is. Shiny. We haven't talked about this a lot on the site. It actually feels kind of weird. I didn't do like a first 10 things video, tips and tricks. And you can probably tell why if you've read the review. I was pretty open to the fact that I would suggest no one buy this phone. It's not that it's the worst phone I've ever used. There's just some kind of like fatal flaws and like the history of HTC, or I should say the future of HTC is kind of questionable. So I guess like to recap, this is an $800 phone. It's not sold to any carrier. It's unlocked. It works on Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. In terms of good stuff, like it looks cool. Like this is the see-through version. You can kind of see through it there. See-through version, translucent blue, I believe it's called. There's also a black version in the US, and then there's a red version elsewhere that'll probably come to the US at some point for them to try to build sales again. It's got like all the specs you want in a phone. Like there's no wireless charging, but I don't really care about wireless charging. There's like one other thing. It doesn't have a headphone jack, but they do give you USB-C earbuds in the box. Like the camera is really good on this phone. I thought it was fairly fast. Picture quality wise, I thought it was really good. Like that stuff's good. Like performance is pretty good. Like it's kind of that typical HTC stuff where they throw everything in there. They do some audio focused stuff where they make audio okay, even though they don't have the headphone jack. Like the fingerprint reader is good. The problems though are like, well, number one, like these right here. So the button situation. The button situation on this phone, they're not actual buttons. They're not mechanical. They're not capacitive either. They're basically just these touch sensitive bumps where HTC is obviously using some sort of software trick and probably their Edge Sense technology to like establish the fact that you might be clicking a volume button or a power button, and then it reads that and then reacts to that. So getting rid of mechanical buttons is never really a bad thing, right? Like that's a moving part that could break. And I think phone companies, maybe HTC even said like one of the biggest things that breaks down in phones, particularly theirs, was buttons. So they're trying to get rid of that. It makes sense on paper. The problem is like these buttons are awful. They don't work. Like adjusting volume rarely works. You can't ever tell like if you're actually adjusting them or not. The power button is wonky. And sometimes like you're squeezing the phone to like hit the power button and like Edge Sense goes off. And you're like, well, I wasn't doing that. I was just trying to press in the power button to make my phone go to sleep or wake up or whatever. I even had the phone like wig out for a while where like the volume, I could see it trying to adjust. I wasn't touching it and it was like trying to go back to sleep, volume adjust. Like the button just freaked out. Like there's clearly some issues with them that just don't work. And when you're talking about just the basic idea of a phone, like clicking the power button, it shouldn't be something you worry about ever. Like I should worry about whether or not the camera sucks, not whether or not the power button works. So that's an issue. The Edge Sense stuff they built in here, they tried to improve it by adding more and more functionality to it. Now it's just like this convoluted mess that also doesn't really work that well. It's way too sensitive. Like it always thinks you're trying to squeeze it, even if you're just like holding the phone like this. So those are issues. Battery life on it was, I don't want to say bad, but kind of bad for a modern smartphone with a 3,500 milliamp hour battery and a Snapdragon 845. Like I looked at my usage and my usage was down compared to most phones, like 2.5 hours of screen on time. Most phones nowadays, I'm like 4 to 5. And it was like 12 hours in and there was like 20% battery life. Like I wasn't even hammering on the thing and it was like 20% left at 8, 9 o'clock at night. Like that's terrible. I had a day where it was like an hour and a half of screen on time and 13 hours in, it was like a 30% or something. I wasn't even using the phone. It just died. So battery life sucks. The buttons suck. Active Edge, which is supposed to be one of the major selling points, isn't good. And then the other thing I would point out is software. I was looking back at software updates and like the U11 was their flagship from last year and the HTC 10 the year before that. They updated those phones really good until January 1st of this year. So if anyone owns a U11, you probably realize that you haven't seen an update in 6 months. Like the U11 got an update to Oreo in January, hasn't been updated since. The HTC 10 is kind of similar. Like the Verizon version got an update in April, but it was with January's security patch. So we know HTC's had cuts and there's stuff going on there, but like they're not updating their phones anymore. So at one point, the selling point of this would have been, hey, HTC's good at updates. This particular phone is running March's security patch. Like it's June. Like they just released this. Well, actually, they haven't released the phone yet. It comes out in like a week, I think. But it's like 3 months or 4 months behind in security patch. So I don't know that you're going to get good updates with this. Battery life sucks. The button situation is beyond frustrating. Active Edge is not worth using. There's no headphone jack if that matters to you. Software is looking dated. I don't know. Like it's got some good stuff on paper, but I just don't. I know. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like the display was even kind of, I thought, not great, and it's LCD. So the camera's good. That's one thing. Like I said, the performance is pretty good. It looks cool, right? Like it looks cool. That's about it. At $800 with no carrier involvement. HTC, I think it was Android Police did a write up recently that said like HTC service is like gone in the ESSER, like their customer service. Like if your phone breaks and you need to send it in, like phones were like disappearing for months at whoever's doing their service. Like I think they just wrote that recently. So that's another thing. Like if you have a warranty claim, you need to send this. Like people were without phones for months at a time. So there's just a whole bunch of red flags there. I honestly think HTC is just done with the US. I think that's kind of, I know we've said for a number of years now, like this is it for HTC. This one actually kind of feels like it might be it for HTC. Like they released this phone. There's no advertising. There was no event. There's nothing. It's sold unlocked. But like they don't, like there's no push. There's no, I don't really know. I wouldn't buy this. There's no way I would tell anyone to buy this phone.
Damn.
And I know like we're critical sometimes of phones and we make fun of phones and stuff. This one it just seems like a little bit like HTC's given up in a way. It's got some nice things, but there's so many, like, I think I mentioned this on a show when I was in the briefing for this phone. I was playing with the buttons because I was like, oh, these aren't real buttons, but they feel kind of cool and they vibrate when you touch them. And like the power button I broke on one of the units, and it could have been a pre-production unit in that meeting I had, but like the power button just didn't work anymore. And one of the guys in the meeting, like he couldn't even get the thing to turn off and back on because I had broken the touch sensitive power button. I'm sure there's a way, like you probably do something, but and then when I got this review unit, which is a retail unit, by the way, like the buttons were still that bad. So there's some flaws with this phone, and I don't know that I trust them to get better. I think I saw somebody posted the review I wrote in Reddit today, and somebody, one of the comments in there was like, HTC said they're probably going to try to fix some of these sensitive issues with the buttons and stuff. Like I've never heard them say that, so I don't know if they will. And at the same time, like I said, they're not really pushing software updates anymore. So when are they going to fix it?
You're definitely not the only person with those problems, right? It seemed like every review I saw on the web kind of mentioned these same issues and then some. So overall, it doesn't seem like anyone is actually recommending this phone. Even the people on Twitter who I see like this device say not for $800, right, or more. If you're paying taxes, unlocked, and no carrier help, then just stay away. There's so many better options out there. Which is unfortunate, right? Because I don't know if anyone else knows this, but I really enjoyed HTC's later devices or earlier devices. I don't want them to go away. I want there to continue to be an HTC, but they keep making mistakes year after year, and it's come back to haunt them, I think. So It could be the end, but we've been saying that for who knows how long. People keep giving them billions of dollars for their employees and stuff. Maybe they'll never go away. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think we touched on that a little bit like last week, where Google bought a bunch of their talent for $1 billion or $2 billion, whatever it was. So maybe there wasn't a lot of people left to work on this phone. Although was probably in the pipeline, kind of around when those people were transitioning out of there. So maybe some of them were working. I don't know. There seems to be some stuff wrong with this phone. And on paper, it sounds great. Like pressure sensitive buttons. Sounds cool. Pressure. And totally. Like I said, the first time I played with them, I was like, this is kind of awesome. I think I came out of the meeting and maybe said it to you, like, doesn't have real buttons. It's kind of cool. I keep comparing it to like MacBook Pro's trackpads because they're the same thing. They're like capacitive pads that just kind of vibrate to make you think you're pressing a button. And that's kind of the idea. They're just so poorly implemented that. And like, there's some little things that HTC does with design. I don't mind the design of this phone. I actually think it looks pretty nice, but they've done this thing a couple of times now. They did this, I think it was the 1M9. I really ripped them for it, but so you have this shiny glass curve thing on the back, which I'm still not sure if this is actually glass, by the way. And then there's this matte finish metal like rim around it. And then there's this edge, which you can actually kind of see on camera. There's this edge, and then underneath the edge, it's like a different color or material that doesn't match this outer back coating. And then you have the display. So you have like these three different like competing colors, materials, finishes, and so it doesn't look that put together. It's hard to explain, but in person, like this intersection is shiny, whereas this thing is matte. I don't know. None of it like blends together. It's just weird. And they did this with a 1M9. I remember ripping them for it, but I don't know. I feel bad. I don't like ripping phones like I did with this thing. It's not like I get enjoyment in that. I wish it was great and I could tell people to buy it, but it's just
you just love kicking them while they're down, don't you?
I mean, I am the guy that said I'm looking forward to HTC's 2018. That is me. I am the guy that wrote that story. No one else has written that story, and I didn't see anyone else written that. No, and they shouldn't have. But yeah,
they were right not to.
Yeah, they were right not to. So, it sucks. I don't know what else to say. Just, it's another phone that you just should not choose from. Like, our choices are getting more and more limited by the month, I feel like. So
yeah, but like those choices that we are left with aren't bad choices.
No, they're not. That's true.
It reminds me that people knock us for being Pixel fanboys, yet there's nothing wrong with being a Pixel fanboy. They're the best phones, guys. Come on. Yeah. Just try them out. They're so good. Camera's so good. Hardware's pretty good. Anyway, updates are good.
Updates.
I mean, I don't know what else anyone else wants. I mean, anyway.
Yeah. So
poor Bert's aren't blowing his speakers out apparently with my audio. Sorry, Bert. Maybe if I step away.
Maybe just back up slightly. Yeah, because I actually turned Tim's volume down. So.
Yeah, we had that same problem during playback, and don't worry, we're on it, Bert. So we're trying.
We're trying to get the audio right. We're still playing with this new setup, so.
Yeah. Better than Hangouts still. I don't care if I'm blowing anyone's ears out. Like, this is still better than Hangouts. So.
This is still 8,000 times better than Hangouts. So far, we haven't had any issues, but. All right. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about the U12 Plus. Again, you can't buy it right now. You can pre-order it. I still don't know that HTC's actually announced a launch date, but Amazon had it at like June 25th or something. So that's another thing, is they haven't really been that open on like when it's available. Let's see. June 21st is when Amazon expects the item to be released. So that's what, almost a week from now.
I don't think they're going to see great sales, man. Like, ask anyone who's not.
Have been really bad. I'm not the only one, like you said, that's kind of been harsh on this thing. I haven't read all the reviews. I took a peek at a couple of them. I try not to look at too many reviews before I review things, because I don't not that I'm trying to avoid information. I want the opinion to be mine, and then afterwards see kind of how that matches up with other people's. But I have peeked at a couple, and most people seem to have like the battery issues that I did. Everyone hates the buttons. It's like, I've seen people on Reddit say like, you can't just trash buttons. They're just buttons. It's like, no, buttons are like a fundamental core functionality of a phone. Like if those suck, why would you want to use a phone? Like there's no workaround for not having a power button. I guess you could set your timeout on your screen to like 15 seconds, but who wants to do that?
Not I, said the cat.
Yeah. So anyways, that is the U12 Plus. Maybe they'll issue a software update and I will completely change everything, and the side buttons and the squeezy stuff will be improved. They can probably improve some of that, I would imagine, with software. And if that happens, we will let you know and update you, but otherwise, don't buy it. All right, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk to Bertzer? Do you want?
Yeah, Bertzer, what up, man? This next segment is just for you. Everyone else, cover your ears. No, so we do have the Xperia XZ2 in-house, direct from Sony.
XZ2, if you're not in America, we love XZ2. You, non-Americans.
Nice little device Sony's got here. You know, no notch. I'm trying to turn on the display here so you can get an idea. Yeah, no notch, no nothing. You know, actually the hardware, all glass, of course, metal sides, very, very solid in hand. One thing I hate right off the bat is the fingerprint reader placement. And while it is on the back, it sits extremely low on the body.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, and so when I'm holding it, my first sort of reaction just from using a OnePlus 6 or Pixel 2 XL is to put my index finger right where the camera is. And sometimes if I'm just feeling back there, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, there it is. No, that's the camera. You have to go a bit lower for the fingerprint reader. Once you do find the fingerprint reader, it's works just fine, and no big deal. You get used to that sort of thing. That's just like a little knock, you know. I'm nitpicking apparently.
Wait, is Bertzer still here?
He's got. Oh yeah, he's here.
Okay, he is. All right, just checking.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not blowing his speakers out. Other than the fingerprint reader placement, overall, I actually quite like the device. The software, super smooth. It is running Android 8.0 Oreo with a very light themed skin. I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a skin. It's more along the lines of what OnePlus does, where it's pretty bare bones Android, but Sony throws in more so they throw on apps than they do features into the software itself. There's a ton of applications that come preloaded on this phone, all of their AR stuff and this different 3D creator stuff, and they have their own movie creator apps and whole lot of stuff. Of course, the PlayStation app comes preloaded, so there's a whole lot of different stuff going on here. Triluminous display, TRILUMIO, something like that. Triluminous, actually very nice. They offer a few different color profiles you can choose from. I was using the overly saturated mode, but then I switched back to sort of like that standard sRGB mode, much better. I thought I would really like the ultra saturation because usually I like super bright and vivid colors, but it was like bleeding saturation. It was just too much, so I had to tone it down a bit. As for the camera,
LCD or AMOLED? It's LCD, I'd imagine.
LCD, yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
I would think so. I don't think Sony uses AMOLEDs very often.
Yeah, not that I know of. Because I feel like whenever the ambient display turns on, the whole thing lights up a little bit.
There you go. Yep, that would be an LCD.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, the camera. A single sensor on the backside. Unlike all these other phones with their dual camera setups and whatevers, this camera, it's pretty good. It's not amazing. It doesn't necessarily blow me away. However, it does very well in low light situations. I took my car out and was doing some pictures and my dogs at night, and I got some good shots. And pleasantly surprised, of course, when you go to zoom in on those pictures, like there's not a whole lot of crisp detail, but when you're sort of just looking back on the image, you're like, oh, okay, like it's not totally overblown, or there's not a lot of flare going on. So it's actually a pretty decent camera. And then, of course, in proper lighting and all that daylight, it looks pretty good. So I like what Sony has done here. Of course, I just, it's not a phone that's going to see mass adoption in the US because it's just not pushed as heavily as other devices are.
It's expensive.
And it is very expensive. And
it's like, it's basically like what HTC's done with the U12. It's expensive. There's no carrier partners. And that one doesn't even work on Verizon, unlike the compact, right?
Yeah.
How much is that phone? Like $800?
It's like $800
right now, right? It's not like $100 off right now, too. So maybe $700.
The problem is, I think I saw Bertzer like say, "Hey, we want videos of it." Like, I wouldn't plan on that, man. This phone, it's been out for like 2 months, and Sony finally sent us one. So what we're going to do is I'll write the review. The full review will be up next week, and that's about it. I mean, it's pink, and I can't carry it around for that long. It's kind of like a rose.
It is kind of a cool
pink.
color. Online, it looks way cool. Pinker than it does right there.
Well, like in some instances, it looks very gray.
Yeah.
Depends on the light. Like right there, kind of gray. Yeah. But if you get light right on it, kind of pinkish. It reminds me of like a clay. Like if you've ever worked with clay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a clay pink or a pink clay. However you want to go.
That's one of those things I like that Sony does is they kind of experiment with colors. They like that weird pinkish silverish. There's a weird greenish version too that they call moss or something, which I would totally use. But because it's different. Yeah. It is different. Else is throwing matte black on everything. Like I'd rather use moss green. I
wanted to clarify pricing here real quick, just so.
I thought it was $7.99, but I thought it was like $100 off right now.
I'm seeing a factory unlocked international for $629, but of course that's not going to work for you. I mean, even the XZ2 compact is $580. And that's the international version unlocked again. So yeah.
So I'm not seeing at Best Buy the XZ2 is $100 off right now, so it's $699, and the compact's the compact's $50 off, so it's $599. But normally it's $799 for that big guy you have, and $650 for the compact.
This is not an $800 phone. Just to clarify, like
that's only a 1080p display too, right? It's not.
Yeah, it is very nice. But it's not.
This is the specs of the OnePlus 6.
That's what I was going to say.
Dual camera, and it costs almost $300 more.
This is like a $500 phone, $600 max. Yeah. I'll go $550.
What's battery life like? Did you talk about that?
I did not. Unfortunately,
really good. Sony phones used to be really good.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not great, and I don't know exactly why that is. Because I'm on Wi-Fi most of the day. I have to be on Wi-Fi, unfortunately, in my house. I would love to just test LTE all day long, but I'm in a black hole, an AT&T black hole, and so I'm on Wi-Fi all day, just chilling, playing my Star Wars games and stuff. My battery it goes down. Like the other day, I had to go to the doctor's office, and I got stuck in traffic. There was a detour, so I had to pull up my GPS. Man, the Google Maps was just eating away the battery life, and of course having the display on with the brightness, because you can't see it if it's not up 100% in the car because of glare and all this stuff. Like, oh my Lord. And I got back from the doctor's office at like 10:30 a.m. and I was down to like 50% battery. And I was like, I was using my Google Maps for like 20 minutes tops, and then I'm just sitting in the doctor's office looking on Twitter, phone's getting all hot and stuff. Oh God. Anyway, other than that one instance, I've had a very positive experience with the XZ2. I was
actually surprised. You sounded, when I talked to you the other day, right after you'd gotten and used it for a day or so, you sounded kind of positive on it, which I wasn't sure how you were, because this is one of your first Sony phones in probably years and years.
Ever. Yeah. Well, no, I feel like I had a Sony phone way back in the day. I just can't remember exactly which one it was. It was before they were doing like this whole XZ thing. It was definitely an earlier Xperia device, but
they're an interesting company because even though no one buys their phones and they barely ship them here, like they're one of the few that updates their phones. Like you said the other day, that's already running June's patch, I think, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, June's patch, I do believe. Now I'm gonna double check.
Which is kind of crazy. It's June 15th. Like Google's phones barely have June's patch. The only other phone is Essential. Like no one else has June's patch, but Sony had already pushed it. I think they pushed it maybe this week or something. So yeah, it's too bad that their phones are so expensive and they get here so late and whatnot. Although these phones didn't arrive too late, but
it's like the most.
I was super excited about that phone, and then it just took forever to get here.
Remember the good old days when there was just an about section? of your
yeah,
phone.
Yeah, one of those changes that Google's done to Android in the last update or two is like bury the about software info section. Yeah, that is frustrating. And Google also made it so now if you go into the about section at the top, it like lists your phone number and stuff, which is really frustrating when you're making videos about things like this.
Yeah. But yes, it is running the June 1st patch, and someone was asking whereabouts I live because I have no AT&T coverage. I live in North Portland, and apparently if you go any north of the what do they call it, the Moda Center, you just lose all AT&T coverage. Apparently, that's what I've noticed at least.
Well, I'm in Southwest Portland. I also have terrible AT&T coverage. But you did this is kind of off topic. You did an article this week about I think it was PC Mag's report on best coverage carriers. And Portland, it said AT&T is the worst here, and it's really bad. They gave them a score of like 50 or something, didn't they? It was really bad.
It's not great.
You should probably ditch them.
No, man, I love my AT&T prepaid plan. It's great. They keep giving me more data each month for the same amount of money. It's
what are you up to now? Like 12 gig for $50 or something?
I think I'm at 8 gigs still, but like 8 gigs for $55 a month with the auto pay. Like that, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but I guess if I can't even use that much data because I'm at home and can't use my phone, it's sort of pointless.
What's the point? You should look at how much you're using because
no.
Switch to Cricket. We'll talk about unlimited plans later because I've got some beef with Verizon.
Yeah, but other than that, XZ2 solid little device for a Sony phone. I really wasn't. I was actually expecting a lot less in terms of the software stuff, but the phone is extremely smooth, very smooth. Even just kind of glossing over this glass. I don't know what glass they're using here on the front. I'll dig into that during the review, but it's just a smooth
glass 5.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder there's probably a bunch of scratches on it, but it's just a super smooth phone. Good job, Bertzer.
Good job, Bertzer.
And no, you will not get full-time Sony coverage
now. We'll see how this review plays, but I kind of doubt that the traffic is going to come flooding in because we wrote up a Sony phone.
3-month-old Sony Xperia XZ2.
Bertzer, come on! I used to be a Sony fanboy. We knew they were great.
That's true.
I'm not going to call Sony great, but I used to like them.
You loved them. The Compact was your favorite phone.
Yeah, the last phone I think I used was like the Xperia Z3 compact, Z5 compact, one of those, and it was awful. And that's when I was like, no more importing these things.
Yeah, they just have too confusing of a naming structure going on for me to even try and follow what phone is coming. Like I know there's like the X8 premiums and ultras and pros. No. You have to dedicate your entire life to figuring out all their model names. Can't do it.
Ben in the chat just said he went to check if we have a subreddit, and he said there is one. I had no idea there was a Droid Life subreddit.
Nice, Droid Life subreddit. Let me get on that.
He said there's 21 subscribers and 2 posts in there.
Yeah, but like how old are those posts, man?
yeah, exactly. How old are the posts? All right, I'm in there now. I think I'm fine.
That ain't our subreddit. I'll tell you guys that much.
No, it is. Somebody copied like one of our about things and pasted it in there. That's really funny. 4 months, a year ago is when the first person posted wireless charger. That's really funny.
That is funny.
Who knew? That's great.
Go us.
The Droid Life subreddit. That's funny. All right, so Sony Xperia XZ2 review next week.
XZ2 review will be up next week.
Looking forward to it. Actually, I'm looking forward to it.
Webster Cawley in the chat asking, what phone are you guys excited for in the upcoming months? Dude, do you even have to ask? I'm excited for the Pixel 3, baby.
Pixel 3 for me. Note 9, which we'll talk a little bit about in a bit, just says the Note 8 didn't do anything for me, so I don't think the Note 9 is going to change anything because it's mostly just a Note 8 with a little restructuring on the back of the fingerprint reader. What else is coming out? We don't think Essential is making a second phone now, which would be out probably in a couple months, so there's nothing to get excited about there. If there's a V40 after seeing the G7 and how much Tim really loved that, I don't think I'm going to be interested in the V40. Who else is making a phone? Motorola still has the Z3 coming out. like the big Z, not just the Play, the Z3. I don't think that's gonna do it for me.
Oh, it's looking bleak right now in the Android landscape.
So I think it's almost like by default, it's the Pixel 3 XL, because I don't know what else I would get excited about. Android, this has kind of been a boring year for Android, I'm not gonna lie. It's just there's not a lot, which is partly why I wrote that post about HTC having a great 2018 back in January, because I knew it was going to be a boring year. We knew Samsung wasn't going to do anything different, but just upgrade components. We even thought Google was probably not. I think I wrote in that post that Google wasn't going to change much, and we may not get much of a change other than a notch, which everyone's pissed off about. LG needed to do something different, and they didn't really. It's kind of an off year. Yeah, like last year was awesome. Last year was a really fun year. We got the S8, and we had the Pixel 2 XL. Then like the V30 was good. Like last year was a good, and we had the Essential phone, even though it sucked. Like we still had it. Like last year was fun. This year's just kind of been like,
I'm trying to think of what the highlight has been so far in 2018. I feel like the only real highlight that we can talk about is the OnePlus 6. I mean, that's like a solid phone.
Yeah.
I know some people are knocking the notch, but they sold 1 million units in 22 days. So apparently the notch isn't all that hated.
Yeah, no. Once you use a phone with a notch, you get over it pretty quickly. Like if you decide that everything else about a phone is cool and you know that company and you like their products, you'll get over a notch pretty quickly, which is why all the people pissed about like the Pixel 3 XL having a notch is just dumb. Like we know you guys are all going to buy this and then you're going to love it and you're not going to care about the notch in like a day.
I feel really bad. I want to send an apology out to every person who enjoys Nokia Android devices because we do not talk about them. We probably just won't ever talk about Nokia. Yeah. For some reason, they just don't get on our radar. And I understand that they have been making good devices. Everything I see from Nokia fanboys is overall positive. So I feel like I just have to apologize for never talking about Nokia. So I'm sorry.
Well, they made... So Bertzer mentioned the Nokia 8 Sriracha.
Yeah.
It has really nice specs and all that stuff. I still don't think you can buy it here. That's one of those. So Nokia is doing this thing where I think they're starting to sell phones in other countries and kind of making a name for themselves again. Like it's kind of been a rebirth for them, just not here. It hasn't been yet. And they've launched some phones here. It's just taken a really long time. Like I picked up the Nokia 6.1 or whatever it was called and thought it was going to be really cool. And I think I used it for 10 minutes and it was just like, maybe it could have smoothed itself out. It was like the most jank filled phone I've used, which shouldn't be. It's like stock Android, basically. I think it's an Android 1 phone. There was something about it I didn't, and the camera was god awful. And so I chucked it back in a box and haven't touched it since and was excited about it before it showed up. So I would love it if Nokia made a big push here because they do seem like one of the things I will say about that phone, the 6.1 or whatever it was, the hardware was great because they used the single piece of aluminum, right? They do like the single piece and they always make videos about how it's a single piece and it takes 8 hours to craft this aluminum, aluminum. And like you can tell that by holding the phone, it just feels sturdier and different than other phones. So I do like their hardware, but they're not really here and they're coming here too slowly. If they would announce a nice phone and drop it here right away, it'd be awesome.
I feel like the Nokia fans, especially the ones talking about the 7 Plus, I get the same vibe from them that I got from ZTE Axon 7 fans. You know, but they say it's just like a really great overall phone, and then I'll finally.
Who is that?
Sorry,
who reminds you?
Anyone who mentions the Nokia 7 Plus.
Oh, the 7 Plus. Okay.
Yeah, because there was like this kind of like a cult following around the Axon 7 from ZTE, and I finally got one in my hands. So it was like, all right, no one shut up about how good this phone is. I got it. I'm like, oh, this ain't great. I mean, like,
this is the price that everyone liked. Yeah,
it's the price. Yeah, and I can understand that for sure. Right now I'm seeing the 7 Plus. I always look on Amazon, and I'm seeing the 7 Plus international unlocked for $327.
Yeah, I mean, price wise, they're nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid. But then
you should look up the Sriracha phone though, because it's got nice specs and stuff. But I don't think you can buy it.
Sriracha phone.
Yeah, that one.
You scroll down a little bit though, and then you see the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 and and you're like, man, I wish that phone was good. Yeah, there's a lot of.
Oh, speaking of an update on that, remember I said I picked up a Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S, the newest version. I was going to flash the Android P beta, but I had to wait like 16 days or whatever to do that. I did it finally, and well, I thought I bricked it. Not even joking. I thought I bricked it. I got this error that said something was corrupt, and I was on forums and stuff, and basically I had relocked the bootloader on accident with a command I used, and except that when you do that, you can't, if you have a locked bootloader, you can't flash software. I thought I was done for, and I figured out something that was really minor and fixed it. But it was definitely an Android P pre-alpha build, I think. It was not good. So the excitement died pretty quickly. I used it for a couple of minutes and went, yeah, I don't think I can use this. So I probably should flash back on whatever their MIUI is or something like that. But I want, or unless they release another beta for it, because the hardware is hot. Because I think it's ceramic, like it's got that good weight to it, like the Essential phone. The Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S is the closest thing to like an Essential phone 2 I think we were gonna get, except it just has weird Chinese software that's not fun at all.
Yeah. Tommy James in the chat reminds me that about the Axon M. That was like that AT&T exclusive with that dual screen and folding design. I think I saw someone mention, like in the comments of our website a while ago, that they liked the look of that phone, and I think I banned them. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look.
Was that the foldable phone?
Yeah, it was that folding ZTE phone.
Yes. I think we made fun of that, and then, oh yeah, that is the foldable phone. Interesting.
Pietro asking where my orange friend went. He's over. Can't see him at this angle anymore. He's in the room. He's listening.
What happened to your orange friend? Yeah, he's always there. He's always listening.
He's in charge of the NSA.
God, this just turned into us talking randomly about like weird phones that we played with. But
That's
Nokia, though, I would love for Nokia to be a serious US player again. They seem to be doing a lot of the right things because they're heavily into stock Android and fast updates, which is a thing we talk a lot about. They're one of the best in terms of Android One and all of that. Oh God.
Oh, Xiaomi. People saying ZTE, they want ZTE to come back to the US. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
why? Honestly,
why not? They want the Axon 9.
I don't
want that Axon goodness.
I don't know that I've ever used a ZTE phone that I thought was any good. Maybe I'm just an elitist, but I didn't like the Axon 7. I tried some other ZTE phones at one point. I didn't think I liked any of them. Listening to smart bulbs.
You're an old man. You're old, crusty. You're hermit crab. You just gotta
buy my phones at carriers, and only if they're carriers do I buy them. That ZTE company.
Yeah, what you guys need to know about Kellen is when we go to CES and we're like walking around Vegas, he has a belt buckle for his phone, and he just straps it onto his belt and walks around.
That is 100% not true, but it would be funny though. If we ever go to CES ever again, because I don't know if they're actually worth it, belt buckle. I should bring a belt buckle phone clip case thing. It would be pretty great.
That'd be dope.
All right. Somebody mentioned in the chat the foldable Samsung phones. Let's talk about that, shall we? Xiaomi. So I actually I don't know anything about this. I think I was gone yesterday when you wrote this up. Do you want to talk about the Galaxy X? Apparently we have a possible rumored price of Samsung's foldable phone that's been rumored for how many years now? Like 3 years or something, maybe longer. We've been talking about this.
Yeah, we've been talking about this since UM, which was CES. I want to say like 2015
like
or
the second CES we ever went to, like an 11 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, my dogs are going crazy. Yeah, so in January, when Samsung was talking about their financial, some quarterly Thor. You wouldn't believe Thor right now. He's going insane downstairs. So they were talking about their
He's not
quarterly
just standing
numbers.
there staring at the orange man, like barking at him.
No, he's like someone's at the door or something. He's going crazy. So they did will you let me talk? They did their quarterly, and they mentioned that they had something in the pipeline, and that it was going to be foldable, displays, panels that you can fold. And so we expected that, and they mentioned specifically this year. So we're like, oh, that's man, right. Like, is that, and this whole Galaxy X name, it's just kind of rumored. It's thrown around only because it's the 10th iteration of the Galaxy S. So we're expecting it to be, you know, Roman numerals for 10. The Galaxy X, of course, could be the Galaxy S10, but that'd be dumb, right? They're missing the opportunity for Galaxy X, and that would just be so cool. So new report comes out this week.
No, it's totally going to be the Galaxy 10 because Apple did the iPhone 10 with an X. They're going to do the same thing. You know that's what they're going to do.
Well, what are you saying? It's going to be the Galaxy X or Galaxy 10?
It's going to be the 10. Just like how the iPhone 10, even though it's an X and it's actually 10, everyone says iPhone, it's 10. Samsung's going to do the same thing. They're going to go, this is the Galaxy S10 or Galaxy 10, and it's going to be an X, just like stupid Apple did it.
I think Samsung's going to be cool and say, no, we're actually going to name it the Galaxy X, like the letter, not the...
I hope that's what they do.
Yeah.
I have a bad feeling because we're at S9. So they actually are at number 10 and X and 10. They're going to copy Apple. It's going to be annoying.
They're also missing the opportunity for Galaxy SX, the Galaxy Sex.
That's true.
And that would also be fantastic.
So they won't do that because that'll just be the greatest running joke of the year. So they won't do that. They're going to ditch the Galaxy S brand because it's dying with the S9 because no one's buying it. And they're going to go straight Galaxy 10. And it's going to be an X just like Apple did.
So what should we call it until then? The Galaxy X or the Galaxy 10?
Oh,
just because I want to stay consistent.
Yeah. I feel like it's X.
Okay.
But
I like X.
But part of me kind of wants to call it Galaxy 10 just because I'm kind of
That's fine.
I'm kind of an a-hole like that.
So new report comes out this week, citing industry sources. And what we're learning is that the Samsung's, array of subcontractors and parts affiliates will be supplying Samsung with the parts necessary to build the Galaxy X, aka Galaxy 10, and they will start building it late November, with retail availability expected to be early next year, which makes sense. It's the next Galaxy S phone or whatever, right. Galaxy phone. We expect it early next year. Yep. Perfect timing. The only issue is that one industry analyst was talking about the price, of course, of the parts needed and, bills that you may have possibly seen from subcontractors. And they say that the phone could be priced somewhere around 2 million South Korean won, which would convert roughly to around $1,830 US. So of course, people are freaking out. And they're saying, no way, Jose, I'm not spending $1,800. I'm not going to take my mortgage and put it into a phone. It's just not going to happen. But we don't, it's still so early to tell where, that 2 million won could just be a guesstimation or an estimation, an approximation of what it could be. And maybe we'll see 1,500, so I'm trying to just put it in my mind, okay, if the next Galaxy phone costs $1,500, but it does.
iPhone 10 1,000
started 1,000 and then went up to 1,250. I think.
Does it go up that if you want 256 gig or something?
Yeah,
$1,800 is nuts. Oh yeah, 256 gig at Apple Store unlocked is $1,150 at the moment. I don't know if it's dropped or what, but that's. But yeah, $1,800 is stupid. There's no way in hell it's gonna be $1,800. Even if this is the most advanced future tech ever, there's no way, right? You can't do that.
It could be totally awesome. So the thing is, what Samsung I feel like has never made is a device that is the status symbol. Right, it's always been the iPhone is that status symbol. The iPhone X, the most expensive one you could get, or that. If you got that, you're doing all right, apparently. So if Samsung comes out with a device, where you can bend an OLED display, and people are like, oh man, if you don't have that phone, you're a nobody, then people will pay whatever. It just doesn't. I think the way Samsung will finance these purchases, of course, they become the lender. And of course, they say 0 interest, blah, blah, blah. So carriers could come in and help a little bit. But, if it's $1,800 unlocked and it's going to be $2,500 on Verizon, But yes, we just don't know. It's too early to tell. So my point is, don't freak out just yet. We're still very far away from a launch. We still got almost another year, a little under a year, of course, like 9 months to go, possibly.
Hey,
so
Rick in the chat said none of this future tech ever ends up being as cool as it sounds. That's totally what's going to happen with this phone. Or what Samsung kind of does often is when they come out with something new, it's usually garbage the first year. Like the Galaxy S6 was not really, and the S6 Edge, while they looked nice, they weren't really great. Remember how the battery life was like 5-hour battery life in those phones? So I'm kind of with him in that, this foldable thing, there's gonna be creases in it like a month in or something. People are gonna be complaining about dead pixels all the time. I kind of doubt that this thing, I should just say, I kind of doubt it'll be cool the first year. Even though everyone will freak out and say it's awesome, I bet it won't be until like the second year. It'll be slightly better, maybe.
It could be cool. I mean, we just don't know.
Like, you need a foldable phone, I guess, just so it folds into a bigger screen.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
a big screen folds it, or like, are we talking like a phone this big folds into a small little guy? Like, what is it? Like a phone like this size just folds in half, so you have a little tiny wallet-sized phone. Is that how it works?
I don't know.
We're not talking like a tablet folds into a phone like this, like you double the size of this, right?
Maybe. The common denominator we've seen between all these reports and all the rumors is that it'll have 7.2-inch OLED display, which is large. That's like Nexus 7 size, a little bit bigger than a Nexus 7. So if anyone remembers that, and you guys want to carry that around in your pocket, I mean, there you go. It had some healthy bezel, but it'll
fold into a little wallet.
Yeah. So I'm interested. I mean,
I'm not really sure what to think about this idea of a foldable phone. In a way, it sounds like, well, we need to do something because we're getting like tech in general just kind of flat. It's plateauing. So we're like, let's fold shit. Like, is that really where we need to go? I guess having the option of a small screen that becomes bigger could be kind of cool. Maybe just for consuming content and productivity sort of stuff. I don't know.
I have yet to see like a concept render that makes it look interesting.
Yeah.
Like there's a few that like, okay, it just looks like a bezel-less tablet basically, but that's not going to be what it is. And then the other one, it just looks like one of those folio wallets basically, like that doesn't look very good. So, and of course, some of these renders,
I'm not down with a folio case, so I don't know if I want a folio phone.
Well, it's better. It's going to look good on your belt.
That's true. It'll fit nicely in my belt buckle pouch. My fanny pack phone pouch.
Let's go over. Let's quickly go over a couple of the comments we got here. Thailand in the chat, well, not in the chat, but in the comments said $900 wasn't ridiculous enough for a phone. Please double it.
Yeah.
ABN says sold the car. Now I'm ready. A lot of people saying hard pass. Yeah.
Price scares people, and it should, but I doubt it'll be that expensive. It'll be cheaper. Come on, it has to be, right?
The Defense Stratus says $1,800 is peanuts for a device that can be used as a phone, a tablet, and a personal computer with a DeX pad. So, I mean, I guess he sees a little bit of value in there.
DeX, the future that I love so much. God, I love DeX.
Yeah. The guest says bring it on, double the lag. Apparently he still thinks Samsung devices lag. He's living in 2014.
Even we got off that bandwagon. Like Samsung phones really aren't that
slow. They don't lag
anymore.
all that much anymore.
Yeah, they run pretty good these days.
Yeah.
Even I can admit that as one of the ultimate Samsung haters, allegedly. Even I can admit that they run pretty good these days. Not that I use them long enough to know if they slow down like 6 months from now, but
yeah. I think it's just, a lot of people in the chat are saying, hey man, you guys are just mad you can't afford it. Like, dude, no, I mean, the phone, like, it just probably shouldn't cost that much regardless of whether someone can afford it or not. So
I guess I'm waiting for them to sell me on why I need a foldable phone, because so far everyone just talks about it as like a cool technological feat, which it is. I just need to know why I need it in my life, and then you have to sell me on why it's probably worth $2,000, which it could be if it's really cool and does some cool stuff, but at this point I don't know what we're going to use it for other than just to say we did it. Like, remember when Samsung made that one phone that had like one edge? The Note Edge. Remember that thing? Where they just curve. And well, and they also made the Taco phone. Remember when they made the Taco phone? What was that?
Yeah,
thing
the
called?
round, the Galaxy Round.
It's like, that was just Samsung going, look what we can do. So this foldable thing could just be a look what we can do, and it may not actually be something anyone should ever care about. Sort of like DeX. Like, DeX is another example of Samsung going, look what we did. And it's like, no one cares. No one wants DeX. Just like no one wanted the Taco phone, and no one wanted the slanted edge Galaxy Note thing.
Dex is a little bit different. I can see where Dex definitely has a little bit of value for people who are maybe more mobile than us. So
I don't even think about that. I've talked about Dex. I just go, Dex, it has to be hooked up to like a monitor and a keyboard and all that stuff. And a keyboard, mouse maybe, unless you're just Mr. Shortcut guy on the keyboards. Just
Mr. Shortcut guy.
Yeah. Dex is dumb. Tell me how you really feel about it. All right, look, are we done talking about this phone? I was going to talk about another Samsung phone, the Note 9.
Yeah, please. Let's talk about the Note 9.
All right, we've got Galaxy Note 9 rumors. God, we are excited about these.
This is going to be good.
So there's this, I don't know if it's a guy or not. There's this Twitter user who also hangs out on Weibo named Ice Universe. And this person, male or female, we'll just say he because it's a tech person. A lot of us are just happen to be. Okay, they. Let's just go with they. Yeah. They just always sounds plural. So it's just weird when you talk about an individual as like a.
No, it's not.
So I don't want to go it.
It's not an it. It's a they.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds weird. Okay. Anyways, they have leaked things in the past. Reliable sort of Samsung leaker, this Ice Universe person. Anyway, they said
individual.
There we go. They're 100% sure in quotes that the Galaxy Note 9 will have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. That's a big jump. We went Galaxy Note 7 that doubled as a explosive device was at 3,500 milliamp hour, dropped back to 3,300 milliamp hour for the Note 8. And then now we're jumping to 4,000. So that should get people somewhat excited. I mean, 4,000 milliamp hour battery is pretty big for almost any phone. Like, I know there's some Chinese phones that do big batteries like that never come here and no one buys. But for a, major phone, that's huge. So additionally, we think Samsung may be ready to introduce a new faster wireless charging, which could debut with this phone. FCC this week, a new wireless charger jumped through, and it's basically the next model on top of the one they just released, and more current in the output. We're talking 12 volt, 2.1 amp. That's big time. That's like 25 watts or something, maybe more than that, close to 25 watts. Anyway, we're getting up there towards wireless or wired charging speeds at that. The previous one was 9V 1.7A. So we're like not quite doubling, but close. So fast wireless charging. That's a big deal.
Nice. That's a huge deal.
It's still going to take 6 hours to charge a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on there, but we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. It's just so funny, we say one thing and then something else happens to make our point completely mute. And I hate it. We just talked about how wireless charging is useless or we're meaningless, whatever.
Our timing wireless is charging really good sometimes.
Exactly. We've been doing big things this year. Yeah. Big things.
Yeah. Look, if it's similar in speed to wired charging, yes, it makes sense. You still have to pick your phone up if you want to use it because those charging stands really do suck. But yeah, we're getting somewhere. I mean, if wireless charging gets to the point where it's as fast as wired charging, that's great. That's great.
That's huge. I enjoy Vigilante's thing. He said, "Lol, that's big enough to melt a whole airplane this time." That's not cool, bro.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
The flamethrower jokes sure do come out when you start upping. Yeah, Eric said 4,000 milliamp hour in new fast charging grenade mode confirmed.
Grenade.
Just put it on that fast wire charger, heat her up a little bit. Chuck her.
Grenade mode. Lord.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. So that's huge Galaxy Note 9 news. Does that change your excitement level after you wrote that you were already bored about it last week? last week.
No.
It doesn't change anything for me either. I like bigger batteries, but
yes.
But the fast wireless charging doesn't quite do it for me just yet.
Yeah, I mean, like that. While that's all definitely cool, and props to Samsung, I think the overall hardware still just looks kind of boring. That it just looks like a Galaxy Note 8. So, and that was the main gripe I have, with what we've seen so far. Is it just looks like what we've already seen from Samsung for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of, I'm waiting for that Galaxy X. I think it's going to be different. I hope.
I hope what's yours next year? 2019?
19.
I hope next year is Samsung's refresh year because we need something new.
Please don't write that. Because
I actually think I'm going to. Please, I'm just going to be like please, Samsung, do something new next year. Bring us the Galaxy 10X. Bring it to us. Because we need something new. I do not want a Galaxy 10 that looks like, I don't know. I think I put it away. I had a Galaxy S9. So I got my Galaxy S9 back, the one that like blew up and died. I got it back.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it would be nice if they would do something new. We need something new, Samsung. Yeah, Samsung jinxed. I know, like every time I say these things or write these things, the opposite happens. Sorry, Samsung.
Yeah, the Galaxy Note 9 looks a lot like the S9 Plus, at least from what we've seen in the.
It's got that horizontal camera thing going on.
Sure, it's horizontal, but it's glass, metal. Like if I held up the front, I could say that this is the Galaxy Note 9, and no one could disprove me.
And they usually square them off a little bit more. Like the Note series is a little more rectangular rather than all curvy around the corners. That's the only difference, though. And they throw a little pen in there.
Yeah. Freaking jerk. But yeah. So yeah, please feel free to write up that Samsung change up your design. So we're gonna have 3 more years of the same looking devices.
So I should write up Samsung, please do nothing different, and then they'll be like, "Oh, watch us, Droid Life. We'll prove you wrong."
I wouldn't mind just getting like a little bit of like texturedness on the glass, kind of like what OnePlus did. They put the very tiny little holes in the glass or something.
Shiny just things.
Yeah. Well, we used to like shiny things. Like our tastes have evolved over time. We used to all like white and rose gold. Now we want like green and red. And,
I still like white phones. Not enough people make white phones. There are very few white phones. Except that I think you're right. There was a time where everyone was making white phones and we went back to black. We were like, all right, black phones are cool again, guys. I'm kind of back on white phones, I think.
Well, now I want translucent, or transparent. Like I want to be able to see my internals. I saw, what was it, Xiaomi or Vivo? They had some crazy like see-through phone right now. It was
Xiaomi, yeah.
And that thing looks freaking sick. You can see the process.
So everyone said it was fake, and they had to come out and say it's not fake. I think they said it's not, but it totally looks fake. Like they're lying. It just looks sure.
Yeah. Someone recently posted a video. Our friend David Imel, over at Android Authority, he posted up a hands-on video with it, and it looks totally awesome. And I would totally use that phone. It looks sick.
Yeah, see, I like cool things like that. That's like this HTC phone that sucks. Like that's the coolest part. Is every time you turn around and go, I can kind of see some stuff. That's kind of fun, at least.
Yeah.
All right. Oh Jesus, phone's falling. Got to send that one back. All right. So the next thing, let's talk about this Vivo phone. I actually don't really like talking about Vivo, but. So Vivo, if you guys don't know, they're one of those companies. I believe they're owned by the same company that owns like Oppo and OnePlus. I believe they're under this. I always want to call them like B2K, but that's like a really shitty R&B band from the 90s. I can't remember what the company's called. There's this huge company that owns like Oppo, OnePlus, and I think they also own Vivo. And so they're like the new hype phone king, where they create all these new ideas and try to push them out first, and then half the stuff's like concepts. They don't release them, but they're not really that clear on that. They're like, check out this new technology in this phone, and then they're like in the corner like, yeah, it's kind of a concept, we don't know if we're ever going to sell this. And so it kind of bugs me because they send like 15 press releases about this stuff. Anyway, back at MWC, they showed off this phone that had a pop-up camera, and it was called like the NEX phone or Next phone, whatever you want to call it. And at the time it was a concept, and now that they're one of the big World Cup sponsors, which is going on right now, just started, they're really hyping their name again because they want to get it out there because they're in front of all these people. And so they're saying like, we're actually going to release this next phone with the pop-up selfie camera. And the big selling point though is like, it's an all display phone with no notch. And there's like nothing on the front except a little tiny bottom bezel basically. And it looks really cool, and it's never going to come to the US. And there's a whole bunch of hype around it because they're showing like, see, look, we can make a phone. Oh, and it has an in-screen fingerprint reader, I think, too. And they were one of the first to do that. So anyways, they said this week that it's actually coming out. They actually are going to sell it, and they've sent some units. Like I think MKBHD got one today. Somebody else had one earlier in the week, I think. So it's a real thing, and it's kind of cool. I just think like Vivo, they're annoying me in the sense that OnePlus did early on. Remember when OnePlus was like doing an announcement for every single spec leading up to their phone releases and stuff like that? Like Vivo kind of does that. Like if I look in my inbox and type Vivo, I bet I have 10 or 15 press releases about this next phone, all within the last month and a half. And it's just kind of annoying. Oh yeah, I totally do. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least 5 right there in the last month. Anyways, do you care about this Vivo phone? Like, I wrote that it's kind of a refreshing look at the future because they're actually trying new stuff. Like not to just like their PR model, I think sucks. The fact that they're pushing boundaries, I do think is kind of great. I guess I should clarify that a little bit. I shouldn't let my hate towards their PR approach diminish what they're trying to do, because it is actually nice that somebody's willing to take a chance, unlike anybody else.
Seriously, man. Fix that attitude.
All right, yeah. Let me flip. Okay, I'm done trashing on their PR department. Let's talk about what's actually cool and the fact that they're pushing boundaries a little bit, pushing it to that next level.
I think it looks very cool. You know, I think we have a tendency to be pretty hard, you know, on companies. You know, they do one thing or show us something and do another. It's frustrating, but you know what, this NEX is, I think it's pretty hot.
It is actually kind of hot.
I mean, we're not ever going to get one, right?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah, I mean, unless they...
I bet they make like 500 of these things, hand most of them out to YouTubers, and then sell a couple, and then that's like it. I bet they barely make this thing whatsoever.
Well, I just don't get it. I mean, this is what we all wanted, right? I mean, this is where smartphone design was heading. It was heading to pop up. Yeah. Right, it was heading to pop up selfie cams. And I think it's great because you've got an all display phone, hardly any bezel at all. The thing looks sick. So I don't know what people want. I mean, it's no notch, and there's no bottom chin really. At least, you know, in these pictures there is bottom chin, but yeah, so I think it's cool. I actually dig the pop-up selfie cam. Yeah, I get it. It's mechanical. It'll probably break on you. Yeah, big whoop. You know, it happens. Exactly. Things break. Just don't take selfies. Don't be a weirdo.
Someone in the chat said I hate all phones. I don't hate all phones. I like the OnePlus 6. Great phone. I like the OnePlus 6. Obviously, yes, I like the Pixel phone. Of course, I like the Pixel phone. I like the OnePlus 6. Great phone. I like the Essential phone. It was garbage. I do like phones. And I don't hate this. I'm sorry. Like I said, I kind of went off on like the way Vivo promotes their stuff. I think it's obnoxious. I actually do think this phone looks cool. Yes, we know the skin will suck and it's never going to come here. But I actually wrote in this entire write-up that it's actually kind of cool to see a company already getting ahead of some of these other companies. Like we've heard LG and OnePlus say this year that yes, we have a notch because we're trying to get to the all display magical front. Like that's where we're going. Well, Vivo's like, look guys, we're already there. Yeah, we had to do this pop-up selfie thing, but we're already there. So I think it's cool that a company like Vivo, who again, I believe is owned by some massive company that owns a bunch of companies. So it's not like they're not the little guy fighting like OnePlus tries to get you to believe. But they're at least doing stuff. You know, they put the fingerprint reader in the display first. Like when Tim and I demoed that first Synaptics in display fingerprint reader, it was one of their phones at CES. Like this is the company that seems to do everything first. So I do want to give them credit for that. And I think it's cool that they're at least trying when nobody else is. I mean, this phone has an all display front and it still has a headphone jack. Like you can see it in the picture. There's still a headphone jack. So that's not even an excuse for companies in the future. If these guys are doing it, and they have the pop-up camera, which goes back behind the screen. So they're obviously utilizing space well. I think it's cool what they do. And this has a Snapdragon 845 and 4,000 milliamp hour battery. I don't know if I actually believe any of this stuff, but apparently it has all the stuff, all the stuffs.
Oh, it's the new stuff and things.
It kind of is the new stuff and things.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it seems like kind of news this week that was announced as an actual real product. Again, they're only going to make 50, and they're only going to go to YouTubers, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. I love tech. Tech is cool.
All right, so let's just talk quickly. We don't really have that much else to talk about anyway. We actually made it an hour with like 5 topics, which is kind of crazy.
Nice.
Anyway, Verizon this week announced a third unlimited plan. It kind of came out of nowhere. Verizon, nothing really leaks out of Verizon anymore because they realize that if they tell anyone outside of their executive team, that they're going to come talk to us. So nothing really leaks out of there anymore. But they did announce this week that they have a new unlimited plan, and it's called Above Unlimited. So they have Go Unlimited, Beyond Unlimited, and now Above Unlimited. There's not just one level of unlimited, Tim. There's multiple levels.
Does that even mean?
That's like saying like the next, like, you know, their next line of plans is going to be called like Infinity or something. And like, even though that just means forever and there's nothing different about Infinity, they'll be like Go Infinity and Beyond Infinity and Unlimited Infinity, which is just like the stupidest play on word. Like, that's what they're going to do. Anyways, so they have a third plan. It's called Above. And by the way, what's bigger about Above than the word Beyond? I haven't even gotten to that fact, but Above is like the top tier plan. You get more fast data. How is Above? Why does that mean more than Beyond? Like, Beyond sounds like Above just means like, I mean, like, here's my cup, like my finger's above it. But like Beyond, like I could barely see the shit. Like, this is Beyond.
Yeah, you would think Beyond is like your data plan from the grave. You know, like it's sort of reanimated. I don't know what the deal is,
that too. But like Above is like Go. It's like we're speedy. We're going beyond unlimited. Above is like whoever the marketing guy was didn't really go that far with this. Yeah, we're above. Like we're above average. Like above average. Above is not.
Yeah, what sucks is that person probably makes, a solid $250K a year. And
maybe more.
That was their contribution to the meeting.
We got a new plan. What should it be called? Well, they're just like Googling synonyms for Beyond. Like Above is the first one because it's alphabetical, right? There's like, above. Let's try that one. Perfect, Johnny. Promoted.
So you're now the CFO.
Anyway, the details of this plan are, well, it's actually not that different than a Beyond Unlimited, except you get, instead of 22 gigabytes of data usage before you could be throttled, that's now up to 75 gigabytes of data used before you get throttled. And then they also give you, instead of 15 gigabytes of LTE hotspot, you now get 20 gigabytes of LTE hotspot. And then they threw in some travel passes and things like that, and some Verizon cloud storage. Who the hell's going to use Verizon cloud storage? That's like one of those things they sell to old people that just have no idea what's going on, right?
Half a terabyte, though.
It is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but no one wants that crap. No one wants Verizon's. How do you even get to Verizon? Is it just like, is there an actual portal?
There must be a portal for it.
Or is it just some garbage red themed app? I'm trying to find it now on their website.
And what can you store there? Like any type of file? Or?
So if you want 500 gigabytes of their storage, it costs $5 a month. That's actually not bad.
That's a solid price.
Yeah, you can just buy it. Yeah, the app is really bad. I'm just looking at their website now. So anyways, that's not bad. If you want a full terabyte, $10 a month. Actually, $9.99. All right. So anyway, that's it. That's the only difference. So, so we're back to tiered data plans. If that hasn't been clear to anyone, that we're calling unlimited. So Go Unlimited is the lowest tier, and in that tier, you don't get, you get unlimited data, but they can throttle you basically at any time you're anywhere near anything they recommend as congested. They can just throttle you down, and you only get like 480p video. With Beyond Unlimited, your tier is 22 gigabytes of data. That's all the fast speed you get. And then if you're on congested, they'll slow you down. And you only get HD video. And then above, your tier is now 75 gigabytes of data. So we're back to tier data. They keep saying that, we're done with shared data plans and unlimited's back. We're just back to tier data that we were a couple years ago. It's a bit frustrating, if I'm being honest. And as I wrote earlier this week, there's nothing unlimited about any of this stuff other than your texting and calling, which people do text, but no one calls anyone anymore. So the only unlimited aspects are texting and calling. And then if you use data, technically it's unlimited, but they limit the speeds. So I love US wireless carriers.
Well, they can get away with anything.
Oh yeah. I
mean, they run it. So,
by the way, above unlimited starts at $95 a month. It's not like a bad thing, but
that's above my budget.
It's not that cheap, and that price probably also, which I haven't looked at, but that price probably only works if you sign up for autopay, right? Because for whatever reason, you get discounts for signing up for autopay.
They want to make sure that you're a good little subscriber.
Yeah.
Good little payer.
Verizon also announced that you can mix and match these plans. So you have like multiple people in a family plan or something like that. You can, like some people could be on Go Unlimited and somebody on Beyond and someone on Above, or everyone on Above and then grandma on Go. Whatever you want to do, you can mix and match, which is kind of nice. And you get the per line discount depending on how many lines across the board. So pricing wise, it's not terrible. It's just so ridiculous. We have 3 unlimited plans that you can choose from, none of which are actually unlimited. Like Verizon's still throttling video to 720p. I think you can buy out of that, maybe, but I'm not even sure if you can buy out of that. Can you? I thought it was going to cost like $10. Let's find out. I swear there was like at one point something where you could buy. Yeah. It's a $10 premium video thing that was announced last year. Can you still do that? Someone in the chat, can you still buy out of 720p? Ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. Oh, somebody, I saw, maybe it was another Reddit thread somewhere that said like John Ledger's already teasing like they're going to change now something too. And like next week AT&T will announce a 3rd unlimited plan because they have 2 also that are very similar to Verizon's. So their 3rd one, is coming. T-Mobile will probably add another tier, even though they already have T-Mobile 1 and 1 Plus, I think. Remember when this stuff got simple for like a minute? There was like a month where this stuff got simple, where everyone's like, no contracts, 1 plan. It was pretty easy. That's all gone.
And then it got super convoluted. And
yeah. Well, and now it's,
murky.
Back to 2-year contracts just in the form of device payment plans. Like here, free phone. We're going to spread the cost out over 2 years. We're back to 2-year contracts. Basically back to where we were 5 years ago or whatever. And yeah, the individual plan is just, it's when I was writing the story about how unlimited is meaningless, I wrote a story about that yesterday afternoon. I found this article that Verizon had written like in their news archives, where when T-Mobile announced T-Mobile One, and I written an article that said T-Mobile One's not actually unlimited, and Verizon like used that as one of their, like they wrote this article at the time about like a reaction, all the media's reacting to T-Mobile One, and it's like and now they're in the exact same spot where their unlimited plans are also sort of fake unlimited plans. Yeah,
and yet here we are.
Here we are. There's part of me that wants to write some sort of like overview of where the US wireless industry is to touch on all of this stuff, because I feel like everything is, and maybe it's because we're getting to 5G that all these companies are just kind of tweaking and nickel and diming things, but there's something about it that's just driving me nuts. Like, I went off on the 2-year contract, free phone discount, monthly bill credit thing. Like I went off on that. I talked about how unlimited means nothing yesterday. There's just something about the way it's all working. Like it feels like we are back to where we were years ago. Like when T-Mobile started doing Un-carrier and kind of shook everything up. And it felt refreshing. Like T-Mobile was kind of saving people money, I think, at the time, and they were changing some stuff, and then everyone kind of followed along. I feel like we're just back to everything being bad. Like these carriers are doing everything they can to hold you and keep you for 2 years, which I know that's like their job. They want customers and they want that constant stream of cash flowing in. But there was this time where it felt like there was some freedom. That's all gone. We're just back to you're locked in for 2 years, and here's a scummy, scammy, unlimited plan, and you have to choose which one, and they all have 10 asterisks. It just, everything feels really gross right now. Maybe that's the article. The U.S. wireless industry is gross. I don't like it.
Solid.
Something just feels weird about it all. So anyway. All right, what else do you want to talk about?
Just depressing, you know. I mean, that's such a downer place to end the show on. I feel bad for anyone listening. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we're doomed."
Anyone that hung around until the end, where we got really depressing on the state of the wireless industry in the U.S.
Well, someone actually brought up E3, and totally not Android related, but of course, Bethesda showed off a little bit of Fallout 76, and
oh my god,
boy, I'm excited.
Why did I feel like I read a bunch of mixed reactions to it? Why are people mad about it?
But because you have to be online to play it. Like, it's not every Fallout game in the past has just been you play it on your own, disconnected from the world, where this one is online.
Okay.
Although you don't necessarily need to play with others to, you know, progress through the story, but you can. So it's like it's multiplayer, and you know, people are just triggered. Which is fine.
Poor gamers. They really get mad at everything. Like more so than we do about wireless stuff.
Yeah.
Gamers are always mad about stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. This whole Battlefield 5. Yeah, you cut out. Sorry.
I was just saying gamers are mad about everything more so than we are about wireless tech.
Yeah, they are. The Battlefield 5 with female soldiers, that's all going on. And people are interesting. However, I did come across a Forbes article saying that no one would be able to pick up the special edition of Fortnite 76 that comes with the wearable power armor helmet. And lo and behold, I was on Best Buy. What did I say?
Fortnite 76.
Oh, God. I'm thinking about Fortnite right now. Fallout 76, and lo and behold, I found one on Best Buy. So I copped, and it'll be here in November, and I am super stoked. And the day that it arrives, I will be wearing it for our next podcast because I'm all about that power armor life. That's Fortnite 76. My bad. I'm an idiot. It's Friday.
Yeah. Ben asked if we each have a Nintendo Switch. I do not have a Nintendo Switch.
I don't have a Nintendo Switch. I have a PlayStation 4. I have an Xbox One. I've got computers. I just don't need to get involved in another ecosystem. Why do people always want me to buy a Switch? I don't get like...
All I have is Xbox, so... It's
running a Tegra X processor. You guys want me to... is that still the deal? Like they're still running NVIDIA chips in that?
Sure. NVIDIA
I love NVIDIA.
Bank off that. It's like a 5-year-old chip. I mean, Nintendo's like, all right.
We'll use it for our mobile stuff.
Yeah, Ben says Mario Kart. I get that. Mario Kart has always been one of the greatest franchises in gaming history, but I don't know.
I respect Nintendo. I'm just not into their new library game. I just don't. They haven't come like Mario's cool. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm almost 30. I don't want to play Mario. I want to play games where I'm like shooting people and I see blood and gore and all that. Like I don't need little kid games. I need something that's gonna wake me up. Because Grand Theft Auto 5, all that stuff. I mean, these are the games I grew up with. I grew up on that new school Grand Theft Auto. So if I'm not stealing cars, beating people in the head with a baseball bat, I don't feel anything, you know? Like it's just, it takes a lot to get us going, these millennials, you know? So,
Yeah, I mean, even I grew up playing happy Mario games, and now I don't really play them anymore either. We're just weird. I get it, Mario. I don't know. I didn't follow that much E3. You know, I stay on the fringe, and I kind of ask you stuff every once in a while, like, is this cool, Tim? And you're like, and I kind of avoid it.
I mean, you're still playing Modern War or World War II, Call of Duty, aren't you? A little bit.
Loving that. I'm like one of like 15 people playing. It's tough as hell to find servers.
Yeah, we recently
no one
got
plays
into
on
like
Xbox anyway, because all the pro sides was PS4 and that everyone still plays there. So like no one. It's just me and a couple other dudes.
I was trying to get you into that Fortnite stuff, and like, and I know like you don't really want to like have to learn a new game and stuff, but dude, there's a reason why I feel like just millions of people, and let me.
It's free. That's why millions of people are playing it.
It's free, but it's a whole lot of fun.
No, I'm sure it is. The appeal of it, just like looking at it, doesn't look. Like when I just like a lot of times for a game in order to want to play it, like I either had to play a similar one in the past or I have to like look at it and go, that looks cool. And like third person games, I've never enjoyed that style of game. So that doesn't. And then like the building thing, I don't want to be a builder. Like I didn't play, what was the thing that like all the kids played forever? Minecraft. Like it was like a building thing. I didn't play that. So like I don't have any of this like building background. So I don't like third person shooters and I don't want to build ladders and stuff like that. Just, and I'm sure it's great. Everyone loves it.
Everyone does love it.
But it's just not the kind of game I want to play. I like first person shooters. I don't like third person. That's really what it comes down to.
What's interesting is with Call of Duty now coming out with a battle royale mode and Battlefield coming out with a battle royale mode. I foresee
Battlefield was too. Jeez, it was.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I do foresee the fall of Fortnite coming soon. I mean, there's only.
You really think so? That's crazy.
I can feel it. Like, sometimes you can feel when something's about to get burnt out. And, they announced all this esports money, like $100 million for esports. And there's just a time when something can get so popular and then it just burns out, So I'm not saying I'm feeling burnt out on the game. I'm just like, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm kind of feeling that Fortnite will soon
see some sort of decline, maybe.
Some sort of decline. But if I'm not saying it's going to disappear overnight, but
there's Realm Royale.
Oh yeah,
riding around on horses and stuff.
Dude, there's so many battle royales.
Everything that's going to be part of the problem too. Is there's going to be everything's going to have a battle royale, and then it's going to start dividing. Probably, I know like Fortnite will keep doing what it's doing, releasing new content. It'll be free, and you can buy new stuff and whatever. And it's like the original. But doesn't it seem like if everyone has battle royale, it's going to start thinning out Fortnite at some point? I don't know.
Fortnite's legit.
I have seen like people are playing that stupid Realm Royale though. Like I've seen like numbers from like Twitch go like split when people are playing that game. Is that game really a thing? It's only on PC though, right? It's not on
Realm.
console.
I've never, honestly, I've never even heard of it.
You've never heard of this?
Oh my God. Realm Royale.
Go to like.
It's on Steam. 7 out of 10.
We're all doing this like on air right now. Yeah. I hope you guys don't mind that we're talking about video games now on air.
They don't mind.
Those weeks. Yeah, so it's like here I'm just on Twitch right now. No one's playing it. It's already dying, I think.
Yeah, I've seen like 8,
it's already dying.
Viewers.
I looked like earlier in the week, or like it released just like a week or so ago, and I think a whole bunch of Fortnite people were playing it at the moment.
Oh, early.
It looks like it's already dying. It's already below PUBG, I think.
You can't fake what I've noticed, from these, people who get paid to play video games. You cannot fake enthusiasm unless you're like Ali A, where you're just like, oh, you're freaking hyper 24/7, but like,
I can't believe you just got a shout out on our show.
What up, Ali? No, I just think if a game is truly good, then, you'll just see it'll be just sort of like this organic growth. Like Fortnite has had. I mean, it just blew up. But with that huge growth, will have to come some type of decline at some point. So,
yeah, I don't know if it's going to be for a while. Not with all that money coming in.
Yeah,
not with everyone like continuing to push it and stream it and get paid full time playing it. It would be tough for other games to come in there. And it's an individual thing if you want it to be. Not really. I know everyone like teams up and stuff, but like. There's like individual personalities that are like driving it, it feels like, to continue that growth. Unlike so many other games, like especially team-based games. I know there's individuals that are popular, but like this one seems really, really on that. So.
once so all of the Call of Duty players on YouTube that I watch, even all the pro players, they got on Fortnite, right? Because World War II sucks, and as soon as they're done with their tourneys, they stop playing that crap.
Yeah.
And as soon as the new Black Ops 4 comes out, Treyarch seems to be the only developer who can make a good Call of Duty game these days. I mean, no offense to your World War II, please.
No, I get it.
Yeah, and if the Battle Royale mode is like dope, if Blackout is dope, then that could do it. That could give them a run for the money, like a legit FPS game, Battle Royale style. Like,
yeah, because it is first-person shooter, I believe.
Right, that could be awesome. And for everyone asking, like, it's not a Cleveland hat. It's not. No, it's a Timotato hat. I got this custom from one of our dear friends over. I mean, technically, it's a Cleveland.
Still
hat,
Cleveland, though, yeah.
Yeah, but it's Timotato. it's custom. It's cool.
It is. You've had that for a while, yeah.
Years. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. Fallout 76, aka Fortnite 76. It's gonna be awesome, and yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, no trivia. Trivia will be back. Our next show, we will have trivia back.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. It's Father's Day weekend. And,
nice. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Episode 176. We're
in the books.
We're out of here. Bye.
Peace.